All right, welcome back to another episode of the Cody Tucker Show. As always, I'm your host, Cody Tucker. Be sure to like and subscribe and tell a friend. I don't know. Whatever the fuck you want to do. It's your world. So, got quite a bit of things to talk about, which is, I know, pretty unusual for this shit show, but yeah, I thought I might as well change it up after a couple hundred episodes. But first, have to say, a little congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yippee. I did not want that fucking team to win, and as far as I'm concerned, they didn't. Fuck them. I don't know why I hate, as I was watching these finals, which lasted way too long. I mean, it felt like those finals were, it felt like that's been going on for the past 3 months. They really should shorten that shit down. There's no reason there should be 7 games. I think, it should be 3. 3 games. First team to win 2 games wins it all. I mean, one, there'd be so much more pressure. You wouldn't have to worry about nearly as many injuries, which fucking hell, Tyrese Halliburton. That was fucking brutal. I mean, seeing that fucking snap. Ugh. But there's no reason that it should be, I don't know. I mean, they're playing enough games. And I know, yeah, it's all a money thing, and if they don't have it last that long, then, who's going to pay to keep the WNBA alive? God, you finally get a fan. You finally have one in your midst. Actually, 2, I think. I mean, so if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, there was like a little, pop-up that happened this past week or so. Apparently, 2 people who happen to be WNBA fans somehow were waiting outside the hotel where Kelsey Plum was staying looking for autographs. And she was kind of an asshole to them. Weirded out that they were there, which is actually understandable because she has never seen a fan before who isn't related to her or another person on her team. So, yeah, I kind of get it. But also, why? That's your reaction to having the fan. They weren't trying to, I don't know. The video, they didn't seem like they were doing anything crazy. I mean, I'll say the whole autograph culture is creepy as just in general. If you're not getting an autograph for a child, if there's not a kid with you, your kid, and signing one thing for that kid, what are you doing? I, in a million years, would never ask someone for an autograph. I think, when have I ever gotten an autograph? I feel like there was a couple players from the Texas Rangers who came to a supermarket here, and I went and got their autograph. And I also think I was about 8 years old. So that's fair, I think. I don't feel that weird about that. But if I would have waited in that line as a 31, what are we in? Yeah, as a 31-year-old, if I would have been waiting in that line, I'm a fucking weirdo. And I know that they're just doing it to sell the autographs, which is also weird. Why would you buy an autograph of someone, A, who is still alive, but yeah, somebody you never met? Now, to be fair, I have done that same thing. I was in Las Vegas looking through in a little not souvenir shop, but one of those autograph shops. Saw a David Bowie album that was signed by David Bowie. He was not dead at the time. No, he was not dead at the time. And I bought it. Bought the album signed by David Bowie. So, yeah. But I was also 16. I mean, I still think that might have been too old to be doing such a thing, but yeah, what can you do? So anyways, so yeah, be nicer to people who are trying to get a fucking autograph from you. I mean, y'all are just trying to make that shit fucking unbearable, which it already is, because it's, aside from Caitlin Clark and her fucking smoking hot bodyguard, besides those two, like, who gives a fuck? And I'm not saying, like, who gives a fuck about women's sports. Like, there's fucking... And I'm not saying that... Well, I was going to say, I'm not saying that the people in the WNBA aren't good. But that is actually kind of what I'm saying. Like, I'm 90% sure that, like, a group of 12-year-olds could fucking run circles around, the fucking Portland Vixens or whatever the fuck the team, their teams are called. Yeah, the Portland Pixies. So, no, I don't think they really are that good. But also, I mean, that is not a blanket statement against women's sports at all. Because holy fuck, they're like every 4 years, well, really every 2 years. Like whenever I watch the Olympics, the women's sports are in many ways way more fun to watch than the men's sports. Like women's gymnastics is way more fun to watch. Like I think it's more impressive for some reason, which the guys are doing like a very impressive shit, obviously. I mean, you won't see my big ass on a fucking hobble horse, but yeah, I think, like I get 100% behind it. It's really just the WNBA that I just find to be absolutely unbearable. But that's just that, I guess. But anyways, so they should definitely be shortening these games. Because I think like the College World Series is like that. I think it's 3 games. It's like the first team to win 2 games. I think that's how the NBA should be. That's definitely how hockey should be with the Stanley Cup. And, I mean, it is for sure how the MLB World Series should be. My God. The last thing baseball needs is more fucking games. Like you can't figure out who's the best team in baseball in less than 160-something fucking games. Like, it takes you that many games to figure out who's the best. That just seems like a fucking... That just seems... I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't get it. I mean, baseball is just the most mind-numbingly fucking boring sport of all time. Except back in the roid days, which they really ought to just bring it back. Oh, but what about the people who want to play fair? Fuck them. I mean, who gives a shit? Like, okay, not everybody's going to take roids. It's going to be a handful of people, and they're going to be goddamn awesome. And you'll still be on the team. Yeah, you won't be the number one hitter anymore. Which you don't deserve to be, because you're not willing to put your body in jeopardy to do so. Look at what Sammy Sosa did to himself. He deserves it. He deserved to have those accolades for what he would later do to himself. I mean, good Lord. Yeah, that guy turned into fucking Kenny Rogers right before our eyes. Yeah, but, is what it is. But anyway, so ultimately, I am proud of myself that I showed some restraint, which I am not very good at doing. And at no point during these NBA finals did I place any actual bet, like through a sports book. Doesn't mean I didn't make a, maybe like a small wager, but I didn't do what I thought I would do, and what I almost did so many times, which is take my big ass over to Louisiana and put way too much money on the Indiana Pacers. And there were so many days where I thought, God, I gotta do this. I know they're gonna fucking win it. I'm going to make so much money. And I didn't do it, and thank fucking God. Because, yeah. Yeah, poor Tyrese Halliburton. God, seeing it, man. Just seeing that fucking thing snap like that. Whew. That's gotta suck. I don't think I'd have them repair it. Like, in my position, I think I'd probably just leave it. Like, can you walk with a torn Achilles? Like, is it something you can walk on? You just can't, like, run and do anything, like, explosive? Because you may find this hard to believe, but I don't do a whole lot of explosive movements. So, I'd probably just say, fucking leave it torn. But, I'm not in the NBA. Yeah, I don't know what it is about, like, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're just so fucking unlikable. Like SGA has to be one of the most unlikable players in the entire league. I mean, LeBron is obviously, he takes the cake, but he's actually given old LeBitch a run for his money. Because, god damn, there's something about him and Chet Holmgren. Old Chet, I was getting about tired of seeing his ass on TV. Just makes you real uncomfortable. Like nobody should look like that. And I'm not saying I'm some fucking, like, George Clooney type by any means, but like, me and Chet Holmgren are the most opposite looking individuals without switching, skin color. Like, there couldn't be a more, there couldn't be a more opposite looking human being to me than fucking Chet Holmgren. It made me real goddamn uncomfortable. So, I'm glad it's over. Now I just gotta wait for football to start. Jesus, that's gonna be a while. Have to go through all this fucking hot ass weather waiting for it. God. Like, I wish, like, sleeping pods were an actual thing. Like you see in a sci-fi movie where they just put your ass in there and put a date in, and that's the day you wake up. Because every summer I would do this. Oh, fucking shit. Every summer, as soon as the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals are over, I'm hopping in, and I'm putting whatever day the first day of the NFL season is as my wake-up date. I don't need to be awake for any of the other shit in between. Oh, for fucking 4th of July. I don't give a fuck. I'm scared of fireworks. Like a goddamn golden retriever. Yeah. It's just, and everybody's like, oh, well, the reason that you get so hot is because you're so big. That's really not even fucking true, because there was like a period of my life where I was pretty fucking small. I mean, besides like whenever I was an infant. Like as a teenager, I had lost like a fuckload of weight and was pretty slim. And I was still hot as shit. I ran hot. I always run hot. Yeah. Yeah, I have an overworked carburetor for sure. I hope that reference made sense. I don't know shit about cars, but I'm pretty sure the carburetor's the thing that you put water in it. Oh my god. Yeah. So anyways, we should probably just move along and get to the first topic. Okay, so I finally watched Titan, the Ocean Gate disaster. New-ish doc on Netflix. And I wasn't going to watch this because I just had assumed that I had seen, like, I've seen everything about, or I've not seen everything, but I know the gist of what happened to this. Is a group of dipshits who thought going to look at a rusty ship was a good idea. And it turned out that they got, squished to death. And actually, that is a pretty good way to sum it up. But I didn't think I really needed, like, what more do I need to learn about all this? Turns out, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than what I initially realized. Yeah, so the main guy leading this whole thing, this fella Stockton Rush. Now, I did not know much about this guy at all. But holy hell, what a dipshit of a human being. I mean, this guy 100% had it coming to him. And I don't know necessarily about the other people on board, you know. Like, that is sad that they lost their lives. But also, you know, nature has a way of kind of taking care of, I don't want to say it, I'm not trying to be so harsh, but nature has a way of taking out fucking idiots. It just kind of does, Like somebody who sees a rattlesnake and says, I'm going to go pick that thing up. And then a couple hours later, they're in a hospital convulsing. It's like, well, yeah, that's what happens to people like you. And that's kind of how I feel about this. But it is hard not to watch it and be like, God damn, that is fucking sad. Except for any of the shit involving Stockton Rush. This son of a bitch knew there was a good chance he was going to get imploded. I guess imploded is the right word. And he still fucking did it. Now, you do have to kind of give it to him to that. Live by the sword, die by the sword. He definitely did that. But, live by the sub, die by the sub. But it's just like, so if somebody told me, no, there's not a chance in the world that this thing would go haywire. Like, it is 100% guaranteed that you're going to be fine. Like, you're going to go down there, look at, just a bunch of fucking rusted metal. There ain't nobody down there anymore. You're going to go down there and take a gander. And you're going to come back up, and that's that. I still wouldn't fucking do it. On account of me thinking, but what if? This son of a bitch knew there was a decent chance that he and everybody else was going to die and still said, fuck it. And, beyond this guy was rich as shit. If I was rich like that, I'm not doing anything to put myself in jeopardy. I want to live as a rich man as long as possible. You out of your fucking mind. Like, I'm not doing anything that could jeopardize fucking Jesus. Thought I was having a goddamn stroke. Jeopardize. I'm not doing anything to jeopardize me getting to live another second as a insanely wealthy individual. So, which actually is kind of interesting because the broker I've been in life, the more I've done, the more self-harm I've done. And I don't mean like, like listening to fucking Paramore and doing self-harm. But like, oh, Jesus. But, like the whole drinking debacle and all that kind of stuff. It was whenever I was at my brokest. The more money I've gotten, which I'm not saying I got a whole lot, but the more money I've gotten, the more I have kind of like started to wean away some of my bad habits. Obviously, still got a few that are, pretty abundantly clear, but I'm chipping away at them, and it's directly in line to me being, a little bit more well off. Again, still not that well off, but there's a correlation here. And I just think that, that if I was like at that level, I'm exercising every fucking day. I'm eating healthy as shit. I'm doing everything in my power to live to fucking 200 years old. And I'm going to keep this fucking party going. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why you would take risks ever. Yeah. But I'm not in his situation. Thank God. Because his situation is not too great. Fucking dipshit. But anyways, if you haven't watched it, it is a very, very interesting documentary, and I highly recommend checking it out. Yeah. God, I just have such a fear of the ocean. And there's a thing called submechanophobia, which I also have. And it's basically, so I'm, a little behind the scenes thing. I'm looking at the poster of this thing right now, blown up on my, decently good sized monitor. And the poster is the bow of the Titanic, all rusted and underwater. And it makes me so uncomfortable. So I don't know if that uncomfort is showing on my face. That's not right. Discomfort. Fuck. I don't know if the discomfort is showing on my face. I'm usually not very good at hiding my, whatever I'm feeling. But, yeah, staring at this fucking poster is making me kind of sick in my stomach. So, it's like the same with the old tryptophobia, I believe is what it's called. Little tiny holes. Ugh. Yeah, that shit will make me, maybe get a little weaky kneed. So I think it's time to just fucking breeze past this and say, rest in piss, Stockton Rush. Hope you found what you were looking for. All right, next topic. Okay, so speaking of new things on Netflix, I thought that was going to be a better segue than it actually was, but fuck it. There is, there's a Netflix connection, so whatever. Now this got me fucking chubbed up real fast. So just, probably a little bit of TMI, but you shouldn't be here just in general. So this is kind of what you get. So a promising update on Mindhunter season 3 on Netflix of all things. I don't know why of all things is there, because it was a fucking Netflix show. But anyways, so apparently what I think is, next to Stranger Things, the greatest thing that Netflix has ever done, which is the series Mindhunter, which somehow got canceled. And I've never been given an adequate explanation as to why this got canceled. Like, why, out of all things? People love this fucking show. I've never met somebody who's watched this who was like, I didn't care for it. It's like anytime you mention this, people, if they've seen it, are like, oh my fucking God. Yeah. But also the problem is that it's if people have seen it. And Netflix's issue in general is that there's way too much shit, and you can't just what pisses me off about Netflix, amongst a lot of things, is that with any other streaming service, Paramount, HBO Max or Max or whatever, I don't know, they're changing them. They're like the fucking P. Diddy of streaming services. Well, in some ways, but not in others. The Peacock, all those things. You can do like an A to Z search for TV shows and movies and see everything that's on there, which is my go-to. Anytime I get a new little streaming service, or, I tend to kind of fluctuate between them. And anytime I bring one back into rotation, I immediately go to the A to Z, look through every single thing on there, start saving shit to my list. I do not know why Netflix has not made that an option. Why can't I look at everything that's on there? And I feel like part of the reason is because there is way too much shit on Netflix. Because I hate just looking at by category. And, so you'll see like a category that's like horror, and I'll look through the movies, and they only give you like 30 movies. And then there will be one under that or a couple down that's like, shocking suspense or whatever. And you go through that, and it's like it's 30 movies, but it's like 20 movies that were on the horror thing. So you're really only seeing 10 different movies that you hadn't just seen. Like, there's no way to just look at what's on it. And that drives me fucking up the wall. That's one of the reasons why I tend to go without Netflix. It just bothers the fuck out of me. But I am so fucking excited. So apparently with the Mindhunter season 3, which I don't know why they're calling it season, because it's not really going to be a season 3 from my understanding. My understanding is that they're bringing it back as 3 2-hour films, which I'm 100% on board with. I think that is the best way to do it. Like, just bring it back, tell, I guess 3 different stories, because they leave you off with talking about the BTK killer, Dennis Rader, I think. Like, they're kind of hinting that that's what season 3 is going to focus on. But that son of a bitch wasn't caught until the early 2000s. It's like, well, goddamn, you're going to be skipping that far ahead in the show? Like, that seems fucking crazy. But, if you do like 3, 2, and you just kind of have like other things going on while that's, in the background until the end where you finally catch him, and that's pretty fucking kick-ass. So I don't know. I hope they bring it back. It seems like that is happening, but yeah, it's so good. If you haven't, for whatever reason, if you haven't watched this, God, you have got to fucking do it. It is just absolutely incredible. The acting's amazing. The actors that they have playing, the serial killers, like they have the fucking, the kid from Project X playing, David Berkowitz, son of Sam. Well, allegedly one of the sons of Sam. Who knows? But yeah, it's just so good. Anyways, so hopefully that happens. And if it does, this fucking thing probably won't come out until about 2029. So there's no telling if any of us are even going to be around. And the way things are going, well, yeah, this thing might need to come out, it might need to be a little hasty on the return. But yeah, so anyways, moving on. Okay, so, so the Jeff Bezos and the Bezos Sanchez wedding, apparently guests are packing for 3 theme parties, must include pajamas. Oh boy, what a fun time this sounds. Let me tell you something. I'm looking at a picture. Well, I guess you are too if you're watching this. But looking at a picture of Jeff Bezos and, is her name Lauren Sanchez, I believe is her name. That doesn't look like, that looks like 2 photoshopped heads onto other bodies. Like, those necks don't match those heads for a second. And I'll tell you what, Jeff Bezos, do what you're doing, man. This is, again, a guy this is a man after my own heart, He's basically running a fucking sweatshop. Actually, not just a sweatshop. He's running thousands of sweatshops around the country and even further out into the world. And, going out and doing a bunch of fucking baller ass shit. So, I'm with you. But goddamn, Lauren Sanchez looks like a fucking science project that went so wrong. Like, this is like, she looks like somebody who, like, whenever you first learn or start learning how to use Photoshop, you get a person's, a picture of a person on your thing, and you just kind of fucking with the face, moving things out real wide. Almost like, kind of like a funhouse mirror sort of thing, where you're like, oh, let me see what my face looks like when it's real stretched out and then real scrunched in. Her face kind of looks like you're mixing 2 of those mirrors together. Like, it is just fucking bizarre. Now, look, I understand that I am in no position to be criticizing how another human being looks, on account of me looking like, Lieutenant Dan with a thyroid issue. But at the same time, I have a working set of eyes in front of a not so good set of eyes. But either way, I got about 1.5 sets of eyes. So, if I'm seeing this shit, what am I supposed to act like I'm not fucking horrified by this? Jesus Christ, this is just not how a human being, this is not what a person's supposed to look like. Bitch. And and I don't think that's reversible. I'm no expert on, the workings of the plastic surgery, shit. But I don't think you can just go in and say, hey, I want you to take this stuff out. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure you're stuck with that. She looks like she's in transition to become, like, I don't know if you remember the what were those books? Animorphs? Is that the thing? Yeah, Animorphs. She looks like she's like her book was her turning into a Gila monster. Possibly a bearded dragon. Actually, that's more fitting. She looks like she was the star of an Animorphs book where her character, becomes a goddamn bearded dragon. And she looks like the third picture in on the transition chart. Like, it is so wild. Yeah. I mean, best of luck to you, and she lucked out real well. Not that she's not, and to say all the, I get I'm saying all these, real mean things. She's not, to me, that unattractive. Which I don't know what that says about me. I guess it says I have the same taste as the fucking richest man on the planet. So, or one of. So I think that's probably pretty good. But, yeah, I think there's something kind of hot about it. About just I'm going to go into a doctor's office and I'm going to say, make me look 30 years younger. That doctor's going to say, we can't. She's going to say, well, just put a whole bunch of fucking stiff shit in my face. See what happens. Here's $65,000. There's something kind of badass about that I just, yeah. It feels like she's trying, real hard. And so it kind of makes you think, I wonder if she's trying real hard in other things as well. That's where the male brain tends to go, is well, what else are you trying real hard at? What else are you, what other ways are you trying to compensate for your increased age? So it's one of those things you'd like to find out, even just if it's just for an hour. You just kind of want to find out what's going on. Yeah, but also all this to be, saying all this to say, not that I was ever had a chance of being invited to this wedding, obviously. This would have been the fastest fucking rejection of all time. I can't think of anything worse. Now, I'll tell you what. The quickest way, which I don't got a whole lot of friends. That may also be hard for people to believe. But if any of my friends, are getting married, told me, hey, me and the old lady, we're going to tie the knot. My first reaction is, fuck yeah, congratulations. I would love to come to the wedding. Because I actually do kind of like going to weddings. And I just, obviously send me a fucking invitation, If I got that invitation in the mail from my friend and his future betrothed, if I got that invitation and it started with sandy beaches and sunny shores ahead, you're invited to our wedding in fucking I don't know, fucking Jamaica or whatever. We aren't friends anymore, and we actually probably never were, because I would have said no less than 200 times how much I hate traveling and will not do it under any circumstances. Not just how much I hate traveling, but how much I hate going to the fucking ocean or any of that bullshit. And so for the fact for you to take the time to send me an invitation to said wedding that is at the beach, anywhere where I'm having to travel more than, say, about 45 minutes, that just tells me that you never really gave a fuck about our friendship. And, I can't be having that in my life. I mean, I'll probably send you a fucking, I don't know, his and hers fucking package of dude wipes. Dude wipes and Mr. and Mrs. wipes. Yeah. probably do something like that for you. But, yeah. But consider that to be the termination of our friendship. I just can't think of anything more selfish on this fucking planet than a destination wedding. And these motherfuckers are telling people that they're going to do 3 different wedding parties that are themed, which I bet those themes are going to be fucking great. They better have a goddamn plantation theme with Paula Deen serving up fucking deviled eggs. Oh boy. Yeah, like, I can't imagine how miserable this shit would be. Must include pajamas. Kiss my ass. Oh, God, I'd be such a terror at that wedding ceremony. 100% I'm taking the mic and giving that whole little fucking rant that I just did. Giving that shit live and in person to Mr. and Mrs. Bezos. Yeah. Not a fucking chance. But, best of luck to them. Hope for, a bright future and what have you. But all right, so moving on. Next topic. Okay, so I know it may seem like I've been, kind of negative throughout a lot of this episode, or also the past 200 plus episodes. I understand that, and don't think I don't notice that I tend to be a bit of a curmudgeon. That is not about to change. So the Bruce Springsteen biopic trailer was released. Spring, what's it called? Let me see. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Home. And I tell you what, boy, does this look like a big old hunk of bullshit to me. I don't get how some people are cast in movies. Now, this little fucker, Jeremy Allen White, was also cast to play Carrie Von Erich in Iron Claw. And I look more like Carrie Von Erich than Jeremy Allen White. So, this bug-eyed little bastard was cast to play fucking Bruce Springsteen. Which, and I'm not saying he's like a bad actor. He is actually a pretty good actor. But, like, you gotta find somebody who fucking at least looks a little bit like him. Like, obviously you don't gotta find somebody, that's like a fucking celebrity impersonator or something. Like, the example I always go to, like, Joaquin Phoenix doesn't look identical to Johnny Cash. But he looks close enough to where it's convincing. And then the acting takes over to where you see Joaquin Phoenix playing Johnny Cash and you're like there's a darkness to Joaquin Phoenix. And there's obviously a darkness to Johnny Cash. And so the two connect. And you can you picture one being the other. And that it's, there's something in there. I don't get it. I've never looked at Jeremy Allen White in anything and said, God damn, that guy gives me kind of a Bruce Springsteen vibe. Just like I also, feel the same way about old Kylie Jenner's kid. What's his name? Timothy Chalamet. I didn't look at him and go, holy shit, that guy dressed like Slick Rick. Kind of makes me think of Bob Dylan. That's never creeped into my head. But to be fair, he did a pretty good job as Bob Dylan. That movie wasn't like spectacular by any means, but he did a pretty good job. So maybe this sumbitch will, surprise everybody. And actually, from what I've heard, everybody thinks this is going to be great. I seem to be kind of on the outs with this opinion, with this take. Like, every comment I read, every review, all this shit, it's like, oh, he's just fucking captured Bruce Springsteen so well, and he's, like, his singing is so spot on. He's not fucking doing the singing. I don't get where people got that. I mean, he is doing it, like, in the little soft parts, but at the end, when they're playing Born to Run, I mean, maybe it is, and I'm just a fucking dipshit, which can't be ruled out. But, he, I don't think that's him. Like, I feel like I got a pretty good ear behind this wig. And I feel like that's just Bruce Springsteen singing at that part. So if you're just talking about, oh, he sounds just like him in the other parts where he's singing like real soft, no, he doesn't. He does not sound like Bruce Springsteen. I mean, he is singing with kind of like a, a mumbly, road-hardened voice. But it's not like, there's nothing particularly Springsteen-ish about it. I don't know. I just don't get it. And then, like, his talking voice, like, fuck, that was not flatulence, if that mic picked that up. That was me scooting on the leather chair. But, what the fuck was I just saying? Damn, I did pretty good this episode of keeping track of what I was talking about. I mean, we're pretty far into this, and, yeah, shit. Maybe sleeping more than 3.5 hours in a night is actually benefiting me in some way. Who would have thought that? But no, like, his talking voice is nothing that similar. It's just not, I don't know. Maybe the movie will be good. Maybe. I just don't see it. I don't see this being good at all. And it fucking sucks because, God, do I love Bruce Springsteen. Like, I cannot stress enough how much of a Bruce Springsteen fan I am. So this isn't like me just like hating Bruce Springsteen, so I hate everything, about it, whatever. I was pumped for this movie, for them to do, like, I legitimately was very excited for them to do a movie about Bruce Springsteen. Until this shit. Until I saw this trailer, and then the excitement went away. Yeah. Real bummer, man. Yeah. But fuck, I mean, who the fuck's playing Clarence Clemens? I mean, Lizzo's lost a little bit of weight. She plays the flute. It's not too dissimilar. Yeah, just picking up one brass to another. Saxophone brass? Or saxophone considered woodwind, because you blow through a wooden reed. Bet you didn't think I knew that much about instruments. Also, I don't know what fucking section saxophone's in, so I guess I don't really know that much. But anyways, Lizzo could play Clarence Clemens. Yeah, just, is his band in the movie? That's actually something that I didn't really notice in the trailer. They show him doing the, like, 1, 2, 3, doing his little count up. But I didn't really notice anybody from the band. Be interesting to see who plays Little Stevie. Because that's the real heart and soul of that band. Yeah. I don't know. I feel just very disappointed. What can you do? We'll probably all be bombed to shit by the time this comes out anyway, so I'm really just bitching about nothing. Oh, well. Fuck it. Alright. Moving on. Alright, so last topic for the day. Be remiss if I didn't, end it on a fucking somber note. But It's not like if you're watching this, you're probably not in a great mood. Yeah, if you made it this far, you're probably not just peachy. But in all seriousness, which again, just chock full of surprises here. I'm a pretty big fan of Food Network, so pretty big fan of a lot of these TV chefs. Sad to say that, which you probably already know by now, surely. But, Anne Burrell died at the age of 55 from what I think was initially reported as a heart attack, but is now being investigated as a possible drug overdose. And I hate to be a person to say, I told you so, but I felt like this was there's probably a little something going on. I don't know what it is about chefs, but fucking A, they just seem to be not in the best mood. I mean, they really seem to be kind of down in the dumps a lot, which I guess is understandable. I actually, I get it. Like, you're dealing with fucking, I mean, you're so stressful. Cooking is so stressful. Like, every time I cook, there is at least 4 or 5 times in the course of me cooking where I want to just take every single thing on the table and just chunk it in the fucking trash and go get goddamn Panda Express. So many times I'm just like, fuck it, I'm done. I can't do this. This doesn't look the way it looks like in the picture. Why is this watery? Why is this thick? What is going on? And I just want to swipe it off the fucking counter and just hit up a drive-thru. So I get that, cooking's just a real pain in the ass. And then, these people are doing it for a living and they have to do it all like fancy and shit, which God, I would hate to do that. I'm way more of a just slop it into a fucking bowl or on a plate and say, fucking eat it. Like, who gives a shit if there's like a little, dribbling of green shit around the rim of the plate? Who fucking cares? I'll tell you what, there's no better, more beautiful looking meal than like opening up an animal style double from In-N-Out. A little messy, like that shit ain't on a nice plate with like, a little like chimichurri and fucking saffron. There's none of that shit going on. So let that be a lesson to chefs. Yeah. What you're doing is wrong. Listen to me instead of your years of training. But no, in fairness, it is very sad that, old girl Fietti is no longer with us. But goddamn, I do love me some food. Now, I love watching people fucking just lose their shit. That's one of my favorite things, just in general. Just like, one of my favorite things about life is watching people kind of lose it. Like I love watching the pressure be too much for some people and seeing them break. That's a pretty fucking fun thing to see. Sometimes I watch these like baking shows, and you'll see somebody baking like a fucking, I don't know, like a pavlova, and that fucker ain't rising the way it should, or it's not like it's too soft, and you can just see the lights go out behind their eyes. And you just see them break. And I'm like, you don't have what it takes. But, that's how you make diamonds. Sometimes the pressure's too much for people. Not saying that that's the case for Anne Burrell. Who knows what the fuck happened? It could have just very well been a heart attack. But, yeah, I don't know. I just always find that shit so fascinating. Not heart attacks, but like, TV chefs. I love, man. That was my shit as a kid. Bobby fucking Flay. I don't care what anybody says. Bobby Flay is the goddamn king. Wolfgang Puck can take his ass back to Austria. You know, he's not the worst person to come out of Austria, but you know, he isn't exactly balancing the scales. No, actually, I did like Wolfgang Puck a lot as a kid. It's just a little fancy for my liking. But, yeah, back to the whole, art bullshit on a plate. But, yeah, Bobby Flay making just a fucking good old, hearty American barbecued meal. That's what you want. No fancy bullshit. If there's corn on that plate, that corn's yellow. If Bobby Flay's doing it. It ain't like some of these other fuckers that are finding corn that for some reason is all different goddamn colors. I don't trust that for a second. That corn needs to be yellow. Yeah, Bobby Flay. Man. Bobby Flay's the king. Julia Child's the queen. Kind of the king as well, actually. Do not let that happy voice fool you. Julia Child would fucking wreck your ass. Today. That's what you'd hear right before you took a fucking knuckle sandwich right to the damn jaw. God. Yeah. There's no telling how many people Julia Child killed with her bare hands. Yeah. Hundreds. Yeah. I mean, she probably killed more people than the fucking West Nile virus. Today. Yeah. Well, anyways. Guess that'll about wrap this one up. Wasn't great, I'll admit, but wasn't terrible. That's really what I'm striving for. Mediocrity. If you strive for mediocrity, you're probably going to hit it, which makes you feel good. But then every once in a while, you'll exceed it. And then you feel even better. So, always strive for mediocrity. Yeah. That's, if I could impart any wisdom to anyone, don't try to be the best. Somebody else is going to do that. And even if you did become the best today, tomorrow somebody's going to see what you did and go, I ain't fucking do that better. And then they do it. And then you did all that shit for nothing. You know? Yeah. Like, Roger Bannister became the first person to run a 4-minute mile. And it took goddamn who knows how long. I mean, obviously nobody had ever done it, and that was recorded. So for probably at least hundreds of years, people have been trying to run a 4-minute mile. Nobody could do it. Roger Bannister did it. And I believe within a couple of years, or maybe even the next year, there was like 6 people who beat his time. So, what does it really matter if you're the best? Just try to be one of the guys who's, just in the race. I mean, you definitely don't want to be last, because good Lord, what an embarrassing fucking thing to have happen. But, if you're just somewhere in the middle of the pack, nobody notices you, you're not a disappointment, but, they're also, you don't got to do all the, press conferences and shit. This seems like a pretty good life to me. And it's what I strive for each and every day, so maybe you will too. All right, anyways, yep, that'll do it. Goodbye.